What's up, guys? Welcome back. Today I'm going to review the one and only Steel Vengeance.
Could you tell where my head was at when you found me?
Steel Vengeance. I don't even know where to start with this one. How about this, that this has the most airtime in the world? That's crazy, and I definitely do believe it. I think the ride before this that had the most airtime was the Voyage at Holiday World. That ride still does look crazy, but I think this one definitely beats it out. Okay, so now let's do a layout breakdown. This is probably going to take a while. So you start out with a right turn out of the station into these two really small bunny hills. This is probably the most basic pre-drop besides Air Force One, which basically just does the same thing, but just without the first turn. I really do like these pre-drop sections on the RMCs. My favorite one's probably Wildcats Revenge, because it has the terrain and going downhill for it. Then you got the steep lift hill, which is pretty menacing to look at off-ride. The next part of the ride starts the three best moments on the ride. First up is the first drop, which is best in the back row, like pretty much every single roller coaster. Then there's a small speed hill, which I usually don't like the one on Twisted Colossus, but this one actually hits. Then there's the second part of the best three moments, which is the top hat. This doesn't really seem like a top hat to me, just like a big airtime hill, but it's fine. When you exit this maneuver, you suddenly jolt to the left, which I think is a really great touch. We go into the finale of the best three moments on the ride, which is the Outer Banked airtime hill. This part is probably the second most powerful moment of airtime I've ever experienced, besides El Toro's first drop. If you're in the back, it feels like the restraint might come loose at the end of the hill, because it's so powerful. I know it won't, but it gets me every single time. Then you do a small step up into a roll that twists to the right at the very end. Then you do a small wave turn thing into a cutback. The mid-course only slows you down a tiny bit, but it doesn't really matter. The drop off in the mid-course is pretty much only good in the back road, just like the first drop. Then you do these cool side-to-side motions for a little while before going into the double up. This part is great but not excellent. It obviously has stronger airtime on the second bump, and then after that it goes into a twisted airtime hill. This part definitely does remind me of those final hills on El Toro, but it's on a much bigger and more powerful scale. Now you're in the second half of the ride, which is inside the structure. First you do a small overbank and over the final brake run. This part is really cool whenever you're sitting on the final brakes and you just see it going over you. Then you do the best inversion on the right, which is a fast-paced 0G roll. Then you do two small little bunny hills, giving great ejector airtime. The exit on one of them gives some laterals. Then comes a small wave turn that gives some cool sideways airtime. I still prefer the second wave turn on Wildcats Revenge though. Then comes the worst inversion on the ride, because at the end of it has a sharp moment of laterals that will throw you to the side. You should probably brace for it. Then comes another overbank that leads into the final 6 airtime hills. The first one of these hills is off axis though, which is really cool, and then that leads into the only normal bunny hill with the finale. After the first one it turns to the left, which then bottoms out, and after that it turns to the right, which then bottoms out, and that's it. My new number one, and probably for most people who visit this park too. Overall, this ride is no question a 10 out of 10, and there's no real issues with this ride. Although I have seen some people rank this ride below Iron Gwazi. I mean, Iron Gwazi looks like a great ride, but does not look perfect like this ride. Steel Vengeance is longer and has more airtime, which a lot of people value over positives and snappy transitions. This ride is worth the trip to CP alone, and I think everyone should experience this at least once in their life. Alright, with all that being said, I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye, guys.